Welcome to the party, pal. I'm curious. Do you like boobies? Do you like blood? Do you like violence? Do you like slipcovers? Well, have I got a movie for you? Let's talk Blood Games. Directed by Israeli filmmaker Tanya Rosenberg, this 1990 film is what you would get if you cross Deliverance with Bad News Bears with Porkies. If that doesn't intrigue you, well, you're dead to me. I hold in my hand this really luscious slipcase from the fine people at Vinegar Syndrome who have rescued this film from obscurity. Now, I thought I knew every TNA action film ever made, but I'd never heard of Blood Games. This exquisite slipcase, of course, has two different designs. This is the first one, and then the reverse. And what I love about this case, not only because it's a nice matte finish, and it's got the nice slick embossing on the titling here, is that it's not a lie. Everything on here happens in the movie. So many times you'll be wooed by a slipcase and think, oh my god, that looks like an amazing movie, LA Wars, and you'll get it, and you'll be so excited to watch it, and then all of a sudden, it is the biggest steaming piece of garbage diarrhea you've ever seen in your life, and you want to attach razor blades to the Blu-ray and toss it at whoever made it. Now, of course, Vinegar Syndrome made this. They also put out some other movies that were less than good. LA Wars. But Blood Games is a great movie, and the cover reflects what actually freaking happens in the movie. Isn't that amazing? And it is beautiful. I'm not sure who the artist is behind this, but it is fantastic. Now, the movie itself, the release, doesn't have a lot of special features. I'm going to read it for you just so you have an idea of what you're going to get. Maybe I can show you on the back here. It might be a little too dark with my fireplace going, but you have an interview with one of the lead actresses and an interview with the guy who played the villain. Now, that's it. You only get two featurettes, but you know, they're about 10 minutes apiece, and they're fine. It gives you some background on the movie. I guess if you're looking for commentaries and things like that, you're not going to find it, but maybe with these movies, it's a little harder to get that stuff. Now, if you're wondering why I haven't talked about the movie and whether I liked it or not, I think you can maybe guess from context clues that I really loved this movie. I really, really loved this movie. Like I said, it's Deliverance meets Porkies and Bad News Bears. Basically, a bunch of girls in a baseball team, kind of a roving, kind of nomad baseball team. It's very unclear. Called Babe and the Ball Girls. I guess they go from town to town playing, pickup baseball games with people. I'm not sure I'm not sure what the backstory is on that. Anyway, they win a baseball game against a group of hillbillies, and of course the hillbillies get mad. There's some potential raping involved, and then one of the hillbillies dies, and then the other hillbillies get pissed and try to chase the ball girls down. Luckily for us, before stuff gets crazy, we do get a very nice shower scene, so that is a plus in this film's column, and it raised it by 1 star. So just keep that in mind. Ultimately, we get the typical survival type movie, the kind that you would find in a 70s sort of grinder. And it's a lot of fun. The girls basically, their tour bus, their baseball tour bus breaks down, and they had to hit the woods. So we get, the typical stalking through the woods type of adventure. But the gals are great. They do their best to survive. Of course, there is one uncomfortable rape sequence that is almost too much. But luckily, that's broken up fairly quickly. I wish it was a little quicker, but we get a little too much of the grunting that is unpleasant. I don't think anybody likes watching that. It's not a particularly gory film either, but it is action-packed. The film is very tense. I mean, the characters are under tension pretty much the whole time. The movie gets going at about maybe the 20-minute mark, and we're looking at a 90-minute movie here, so it moves fairly quickly. Once we get into the woods, it does slow down and drag a little bit as the girls get lost in a fog, and sort of the hillbillies are just goofing around, drinking beer and acting like morons. But speaking of the hillbillies, I do want to mention that an old friend of the show, only a friend of the show because he's been in a lot of movies I love. I've never met him in person, unfortunately. He's passed away. And that is George Buck Flower. He plays one of the ugly, sex-crazed hillbillies here. And he does a fantastic job, as you would imagine George Buck Flower to do. If you don't know George Buck Flower, you've seen him. Trust me, he's been in almost every John Carpenter movie. He's that hobo guy that's always a hobo in every movie. That's kind of his shtick. He's really good at it. We also get a very satisfying third act on this film, which is great because a lot of these movies sometimes don't provide a very satisfying third act. So I'm glad this movie goes above and beyond it to give us a really good finale. This is the Blu-ray itself without the slipcover. This is another sort of alternate cover. There is another alternate cover. This is my favorite. However, none of these girls here are in the movie. I wonder what they told these girls. Hey, yeah, just pose like that. Pretend you're holding a baseball bat, and it'll be great. It'll be great. Oh, what's this movie about? Oh, don't worry about it. It's about girls playing baseball. Just stand there and look cute. I don't get it, but whatever. It is what it is. Back in the 80s and 90s, most times the actors didn't even appear on their own covers, and we all know that very well. Long story short, Blood Games is a really good movie, and I highly recommend you buy it. And I would act fast because the slipcase is still available, and it's pretty sweet with the slipcase. I'm going to give this one 5 stars, believe it or not. I loved it that much. It's probably my favorite survival horror, action picture of this type that I've seen recently. I like it a lot better than some of the other ones, like, Final Terror. Was that one with Daryl Hannah? And the one that Scream Factory put out, that was not very good at all. Anyway, a lot of those forest stalker, killer, hillbilly type movies, I'm not a big fan of those, but I was a big fan of this movie. And honestly, maybe because the cast is super hot. Almost all the girls are attractive, which is great. And you get to see almost all of them naked, which is even better. Before you drop a comment, I promise I'm not being sexist. I am being a connoisseur of film, and of course, every element is important to a film, especially an exploitation film. Also, boobies rule. Okay, gang, that has been my review of Blood Games. I highly, highly recommend this movie. It's super fun, and it's definitely rewatchable. I've already seen this film twice, and it looks fantastic on Blu-ray, by the way, so I would highly recommend you pick this beautiful piece of schlocky exploitation 90s survival horror TNA classic today. And if you've seen it, let me know in the comments below. Please, I would love to hear your review. Your thoughts are just as important as mine, my friend. That'll do it for today. The theater's about to close, my friend. I hope this video has found you happy, healthy, and well. I remain your friendly neighborhood Master Chaos. I wish you a very pleasant good night wherever you are. And I do have to tell you one more thing. LA Wars sucks.